was one of the 17 sailors we tragically lost. Tom, we vow to always remember the heroes of the USS Cole. Thank you. My administration has acted decisively to confront the world's leading state sponsor of terror, the radical regime in Iran. It is a radical regime. They do bad, bad things. To ensure this corrupt dictatorship never acquires nuclear weapons, I withdrew the United States from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. The toughest sanctions ever imposed by us on a country. We will not avert a regime chance death to America and threatens genocide against the Jewish people. Never ignore the vile poison of anti-Semitism or those who spread its venomous creed. With one voice, we must confront this hatred anywhere and everywhere it occurs. Just months ago, 11 Jewish Americans were viciously murdered in an anti-Semitic attack on the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. SWAT officer Timothy Matson and within times chasing down the killer. It was very. Timothy is his 12th surgery, and he's going in for many more. But he made the trip to be here with us tonight. Officer Matson, please. Thank you. We are forever grateful. Thank you very much. Tonight we are also joined by Pittsburgh survivor, Judah Samet. He arrived at the synagogue as the massacre began. But not only did Judah narrowly escape death last fall, more than 7 decades ago, he narrowly survived the Nazi concentration camp. It is Judah's 81st birthday. for me, Judah. Judah says he can still remember the exact moment nearly 75 years ago, after 10 months at a concentration camp, when he and his family were put on a train and told they were going to another camp. Suddenly, the train screeched to a very strong halt. A soldier appeared. Judah's family braced for the absolute worst. Then his father cried out with joy, "It's the Americans! It's the Americans!" Thank you. A second Holocaust survivor who is here tonight, Joshua Kaufman, was a prisoner at Dachau. He remembers watching through a hole in the wall of a camp as American soldiers rolled in with tanks. To me, Joshua recalls, the American soldiers were proof that God exists, and they came down from the sky, they came down from heaven. I began this evening by honoring 3 soldiers who fought on D-Day in the Second World War. One was Herman Zaitchik. But there is more to Herman's story. A year after he stormed the beaches of Normandy, Herman was one of the American soldiers who helped liberate Dachau. He was one of the Americans who helped rescue Joshua from that hell on earth. Almost 75 years later, Herman and Joshua are both together in the gallery tonight, seated side by side here in the home of American freedom. Herman and Joshua, your presence this evening is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you. When American soldiers set out died over the English Channel in the early 1944, they were just young men of 18 and 19, Hercules landing craft toward the most momentous battle in the history of war. They did not know if they would survive the hour. They did not know if they would grow old, but they knew that America had to prevail. Their cause was this nation and generations yet unborn. Why did they do it? They did it for America. They did it for us. Everything has come. Think of this Capitol. Think of this very chamber where lawmakers before you voted to end slavery, to build the railroads and the highways and defeat fascism, to secure civil rights, and to face empires. Here tonight, we have legislators from across this magnificent republic. You have come from the rocky shores of Maine and the volcanic peaks of Hawaii, from the snowy woods of Wisconsin and the red deserts of Arizona, from the green farms of Kentucky and beaches of California. Together we represent the most extraordinary nation in all of history. What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? I ask the men and women of this Congress, look at the opportunities before us. Our most thrilling achievements are still ahead. Our most exciting journeys still await. Our biggest victories are still to come. We have not yet begun to dream. We must choose whether we are defined by our differences or whether we dare to transcend them. We must choose whether we squander our great inheritance or whether we proudly declare that we are Americans. We do the incredible. We defy the impossible. We conquer the unknown. This is the time to reignite the American imagination. This is the time to search for the tallest summit and set our sights on the brightest star. This is the time to rekindle the bonds of love and loyalty and memory that link us together as citizens, as neighbors, as patriots. This is our future, our fate, and our choice to make. I am asking you to choose greatness. No matter the trials we face, no matter the challenges to come, we must go forward together. We must keep America first in our hearts. We must keep freedom alive in our souls. And we must always keep faith in America's destiny. That one nation, under God, must be the hope and the promise and the light and the glory among all the nations of the world. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Today is President Trump wrapping up his third speech in the House chamber, his second State of the Union, echoing the key themes of his campaign, Make America Great Again, by telling the American people to choose greatness, telling the members of Congress tonight to choose greatness. He said coming in it would be a call to unity, and there were moments that unified that chamber tonight, cheering for those D-Day veterans, for the first prisoners released as a result of the president's first step back, prison reform, Matthew Charles. And in a sweet, somewhat odd moment, the chamber singing happy birthday to a Holocaust survivor of the Pittsburgh Synagogue shootings, Judah Semet. But Cokie Roberts, perhaps the biggest unity came was an inadvertent moment when the president praised the women's making gains in the American employment today, congratulated those women members of Congress. They rose up and won. He said, you weren't supposed to do that.
Well, they not only rose up, they started high-fiving each other, and instead of clapping for him, they were just enjoying each other's company and triumphs. He did give them something to work on if they choose to, which is paid family leave. That is something that women in Congress have been trying to get done for a very long time, and if they're willing to work with him, that might be something to get done. But that's a big if on a lot of things.
The governor of Jersey, ally of President Trump, now on ABC News. across from Democrats. If there's going to be peace and legislation, there cannot be an investigation. Isn't making an intro? Robert Mueller investigation. No, they didn't say 99. Bill Clinton didn't mention the investigations, the Monica Lewinsky scandal at all.
Well, listen, George, I think, he gave Democrats there tonight a lot of opportunity, if they wanted to, and they didn't take much of it, to applaud, whether it was lower prescription drug prices, whether it was coming together on issues like infrastructure, and he wanted to draw a line, too, that he was going to make sure they understood that if investigations out of hand by the Congress, that it was going to slow their ability to do the kind of bipartisan things. So he's going to draw a line and let them know.
David Muir, he also said that it wasn't just those investigations that are getting in his foolish wars, endless wars. You're just back from Afghanistan this weekend, met with the commanding general, General Miller. The president talked about getting out of Afghanistan, did not give a date certain, set some conditions.
Absolutely right, George. He didn't give a date for that drawdown of U.S. troops in Afghanistan, but as he said in his State of the Union tonight, great nations do not fight endless wars. He talked about the Taliban talks that four-star general confirmed to us were ongoing. He considered them encouraging, significant, and he said to me over the weekend in Kabul that if there's going to be an end game to this war in Afghanistan, it's going to be a political one, not one that. And you heard the president tonight said they are accelerating those constructive talks. Progress in these negotiations will be able to reduce our troop presence in Afghanistan. And General Miller told us when we asked him point blank, have you received the order for any type of drawdown yet? He said, no, not yet. But he, as the general on the ground, said he will respond to the policymakers in Washington and to the president. He indicated to me that he can do this in Afghanistan with a reduced footprint. So perhaps we will see that in the months to come, George.
Mary Bruce, it was fascinating to watch House Speaker Nancy Pelosi through that hour and 20 minutes.
Really remarkable to watch her reaction throughout that entire speech. At moments, she seemed to be keeping track of the president's remarks there, looking over the papers in front of her. And look, she made very clear where she disagreed with the president when he issued what was a pretty stark warning to Democrats that be investigating him if they want to compromise. Pelosi shook her head. You heard audible groans from many of the Democrats there. That is something that Nancy Pelosi simply is not going to rein in. She's made that very clear that if at all to dial back their oversight responsibilities, he can think twice about that. And then, of course, on the issue of the wall, because that is the most pressing issue here before this Congress, George. We have just 10 days for lawmakers to somehow come together and try and strike a deal to prevent yet another shutdown. The president made very clear, he said he thinks walls work, walls save lives. A lot of Democrats disagreeing with that sentiment, and Nancy Pelosi making very clear that that is still a huge sticking point between she and the president.
The city of Vegas spent more time than any other single issue tonight.
And despite the fact that 60% of Americans, George, do not actually want this wall, this is his issue. If Democrats were hoping